Hello everyone, it's Hotchmania, and today I've got a walkthrough on how to start up and get yourself going in the Fenix A320. This is a pretty impressive aircraft to fly, and I know a lot of people are getting into the Fenix. So today I want to give you a walkthrough rundown of how to get it going. Basically everything you're going to need to, well, taxi out of the gate, essentially. And we'll do some more videos to kind of give you some more information along the way, but I think a lot of people, of course, you're going to start off the plane and get it going. And so we have a cold and dark startup. Now, if you are a real world Airbus pilot, if you are a super enthusiast, if you love the Airbus, I guarantee you this is probably not the tutorial for you. I'm sure you'll cringe at this. I'm telling you this off the bat. I'm not an expert. I just know enough about the plane to get it going, to get you from here, cold and dark, to ready to go. So we're going to hop right in here. This is the Fenix A320, and we've got the, as you can see here, totally cold and dark. Everything's off. I just loaded up the sim. We're here in Orlando. Gate 82. I don't even know if that's really where Delta goes, but I just had something here. There is one assumption, and that one assumption, for now, is that you already have a flight plan with SimBrief. So if you did not already create a flight plan, you need to do that. The reason why creating your flight plan with SimBrief is so important is it makes the entire planning process so much easier because the Fenix A320 has integration with SimBrief. So if you have not yet created a flight in SimBrief, stop what you're doing, pause this video, go over to SimBrief, create a flight, save it, and then make sure your plane is linked in here. All right, so assuming all that, we're going to get started. So first thing you're going to do, and this is, again, my particular flow. I'm not saying this is the flow. There's many ways to get going, but I think this is the most straightforward way, in my opinion. First thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the plane on. So we're going to go up to the top panel over here, and you're going to see everything is off. You're going to see external power. So we're going to turn on external power. That's number one. Let me turn the sounds on. Sorry. You guys can have some sounds here. I'm going to keep the sounds a little lower so you can hear me. Then battery 1, battery 2, and we're going to turn the pumps on, left to right. I really don't know if going left to right really matters. I've always done left to right. So, and then lastly, the ADIRS, which is the navigation, the IRS, the alignment. You want to align them. You're going to turn 1 to nav, 3 to nav, and 2 to nav. I'm using my mouse wheel to move them around. That's it. They'll do their thing. Just leave them alone. Come on down. Everything else is good. Good, good, good. Don't worry about these faults in the generators. That's fine. Don't worry about that. Crew supply, that just gives the oxygen to the people in the behind, you know, the crew. It's kind of important. Emergency lights, we're going to arm them. It's one tick up. Non-smoking, no smoking. We're going to go auto and on. Should be on all the time. And no seatbelts. We're going to flick that on. That's it. Easy. Next thing we're going to do is go down to the MCDU and start programming things in. So basically what we've done is turn the power on to the aircraft. It's running off the ground power, and it's still, as you can see, kind of in a flux state here of getting ready, but not to worry about that. We'll get there in a second. So back downstairs, we're going to click on the ATSU, and we're going to go to the AOC menu, and then we're going to go to Flight Init. Now again, at this stage, if you have not set up your SimBrief integration with the aircraft, which you need to do in the, I believe that you can do this in here. Yeah, see, like I have my SimBrief username in here, and you can also set it up in the EFB. So make sure you have that all set up. If you don't do that, this is not going to work at this point. But we're going to click on init data request. And what this is going to do essentially is call up SimBrief and be like, hey, where's that flight that you got for us? And there's a little bit of a delay, but you're going to see there's our flight, Delta 199, Orlando, John F. Kennedy, alternate Philadelphia. Cool. Pretty easy. Back to the AOC menu. Everything else here is other stuff that you don't necessarily need to do. There are things you can do here. We're not going to worry about it for today, so just keep that in mind. Next up, we're going to click on Init. And there's a couple of options over here. First thing we're going to do is click on Init Request on the second button. Basically, this is going to do the same thing and pull in all that data from SimBrief into the MCDU, the flight computer. Again, a little bit of a delay, but there we go. Very good. Now we've got this in here, and we're getting there. We're going to do the IRS alignment next. So we already turned the IRS into, to get them ready. Now we're actually going to initialize it. So it's already got it here. You can see if you didn't do the knobs on the top panel, this won't work. You click on Align on Reference. So it's just this button here. That's it. Confirm. Yep, that's right. Easy. Hit Return. And then we'll request the wins. Why do we request the wins? I don't know. You just request it. It's something you're supposed to do. And since it's automated, I'm happy to do it. Better performance. Somebody in the comments will let us know, but it's fine. You're just going to click on it. That's it. Good. Great. Grand. All right, now we're cooking with fire. Now we've got some stuff in here. So let's go JetBlue. Used to doing that. Delta 199. Cost index, you can look it up. You can make up the number. It's usually something between 1 and 99. This is the efficiency of the aircraft. It's up to you. I'm just going to make up a number here. I really don't even know what Delta uses IRL. I don't care. The flight cruising, the flight level for cruise. I believe I filed 360. Whatever you filed is what you're going to do. Actually, I think it should be odd because we're going east, so it really should be 350. So we'll put that in. Cool. All the stuff you see like window day uplink, yeah, whatever. Just hit clear. Clear all that bad boy out. It's so good. Yep, no problem. These are all old messages I should have cleared out before this, but I just couldn't be bothered. We're going to go to the next page, and now we're ready to put in our fuel and our weights. But before we do that, what are the numbers? Well, that's a great question. Now we're going to go to our EFB, which is over on our left. So the EFB is your handy-dandy guide to everything that you need for what we're doing here. What I do to get into it is just hold down. There you go. I just put my mouse over the thumb thing, and it's good. So there's a number of different options here. We're going to start with the Fenix one. This is the first app, and this is pretty much going to be what we're going to be using for today. In other videos, we'll talk about some of the other things that are there. All right, so the first thing is tap to import from SimBrief. Again, I had already set up my SimBrief integration, so that's why it is here. I'm going to click on it. Your plan has an off blocks time. Yeah, okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Unit mismatch. I did something wrong on my end. So what I did, this is an oopsie on my part, in my SimBrief integration, I chose, I believe, kilograms, and it should be in pounds. So bad on me on that. So here you go. This is debugging, save, generate. What's kind of cool is that you can really just do this on the fly, which is a really neat thing that, you don't have to restart the sim or anything, even though I did an oopsie here. That's all right. So we're going to go back to the sim, re-import from SimBrief. If you do this the correct way, then you won't see this message, obviously. Okay. The errors here, basically what this is all telling you is that if you cared about the off block time, like if you really want to be off basically take off the time you filed for it, you're not going to do it. I don't care. I don't need that kind of realism in my life. All right, so there we go. So Orlando to John F. Kennedy Airport. Of course, the time is all messed up. Don't worry about that. This is just, I'm recording this video. I don't know why the time is off, quite frankly, but it is. So we've got here some critical information, but we're going to get to we want the fuel. We want weights. So we're going to go down to mass and balance. And you're going to see everything that we need over here. Now, it's already brought in. Planned is the numbers that SimBrief has, and loaded is what's actually here currently. So these numbers are off. In addition, you've got the passengers. So this is the amount of passengers that SimBrief thinks we're going to have. This is the cargo, and this is the fuel, and this is our current weights. All we're going to do is click on Load Aircraft. You could do either option. There's one you want real time. It'll take 24 minutes. Fast time or instant. I'm going to do instant because I don't want to wait. This video is already long enough as it is. Instant. And there you go. Boarding complete. So everything is loaded in here. Our fuel matches up. Everything matches up. Cool. So first thing that we're going to do, there goes the jetway. I don't know why. Because boarding is completed, right? So in the tanks, we want to put in our fuel for today. So 22.1. It does help if you have the camera control set up. It doesn't matter. You can go back and forth. And then our zero fuel weight is right over here. So 127. It's a 0.0, so I'll just leave it like that. And then we needed, the zero fuel cargo weight, 30.5. There you go. Cool. All right, so we've got that in here. That's good. Now we're going to go to the flight plan. And it's already imported the flight plan in. What's missing is the departure and the arrival. So the star and the SID. No problem at all. We're going to go to, I would start with the departure airports. Now we're going to tell the plane basically what our plan is for takeoff. We're going on departure. Currently, it is 18 right on departure. And again, this would be we're on the Faith departure today. Yep. VIAP transition. So 18 right, Faith 1 departure, VIAP. And yes, evidently my AirAC date is out of date, so I got to update that after this video, but you get the idea. Click on insert, and there you go, it's in there. Perfect. And then lastly, you're just going to click on the arrival. So now we're going to tell the plane what to do when we get to the area. Click Click on arrival. And I forgot what the, I think it's 2-2s. This is why you write stuff down. 2-2 right, yep. So, oops, went too far on that one. ILS 2-2 right. And we're coming on the Cameron 4. And there's no transition on this one, so just insert. And there you go. So again, SimBrief brought in the middle, the legs, everything after takeoff, everything from departure to arrival, and then we're just adding the departure and arrival. And it's got it all in here. You can go verify. This is our flight plan, and here's our top of drop and all that fun stuff. And then don't worry about that. That's just telling you need more time to go in there. Lastly, we're going to put in the performance. So we need to put in the performance. Before we get to this page, we're going to go back to the EFB. Now we need to tell the plane, okay, well, what numbers do I want to put in here? And for this, we're going to go back out, and we're going to click on the second icon, which is the departure one. So this is basically, this is your calculator. This is you're telling the plane, all right, here's what the conditions are, and then it'll calculate for you what your takeoff speeds are and whatnot. So first thing, we're coming from Orlando. We're taking off on 1H right. And it is dry. It's not rain. If it was raining or if it was snowing or whatever, you change that number, but we're just going to leave that alone. Click Sync Load Sheet Final. Okay. Now, these options here are pretty much good to go. The flap config, I always do one flex. Again, for most, I think 99% of every flight I've ever taken is always one flex. That means flaps 1, flex takeoff. If you want to do flaps 2 or flaps 3 or whatever, it's up to you. Force toga, no, we don't need anti-ice. It's not cold on. Packs on. I know you can do the packs off thing. Don't at me in the video. I don't care. I just packs on. It's an Airbus. I'm not looking for maximum performance here. We've got this information here. Cool. Sync weather conditions. So this is basically you could put in your own weather if you wanted, but we were just going to let it figure it out from the real world. You got that in here, so it picked in the weather from the simulator. And now we're going to click on calculate. And there you go. So now you have, right here on the top right, the numbers that you need, starting with flaps 1 down 0.1 trim. So flaps 1 / DN 0.1. You're literally just putting in here what you see on that other screen. Flex temp 62. And V1 154. It's a 154 all around. Usually these numbers are not all the same. Usually V2 is always different, and 151 and 152 might be a little different. But anyway, it's 154 across the path, so all right. Who am I to argue with the calculator? Just going to type it all in over here. And, of course, the last thing you want to do on this page is verify your transition altitude in the United States. It's 18,000. If you're flying somewhere else, you'd want to probably change that. So there you go. That is pretty much it in the flight computer. It is good to go now. You've got that ready to go. So now we're going to go. I like to do the MCP. So we need the current weather conditions. And to get the weather current, that doesn't make any sense. We're going to click on the first tab again. I believe the weather is back here on my flight. And you can click on MCO METAR. Departure, you can see the altimeter. This is all the METAR information over here. And the altimeter is 3015. So we're going to go back here. 3015. Hit constraints. This will show us in the MFD over here where the altitudes are we have to hit, what have you. I like keeping it at 10 and keeping it on arc. This is personal preference. There is no right or wrong answer. Do whatever you want. I think most people actually do it much further out, but I don't know. Coming over here, we're going to leave everything to the computer. Obviously, if you're flying on that sim or some other network and they give you where to go, in Orlando, it's almost usually 7,000 on departure, and then they'll give you higher once you get up in the air. We're not on network currently, so I'm just going to plug it into our final cruise, which is 350. I think I actually filed 36, but I forgot we're going eastbound. It was one even number for eastbound. Again, if they'd given you some other number, you could put it in here. Now we're going to sync this up. Constraints. I like putting plan on the Copilot and 40 miles out. This gives me an idea of where we're going. This is an idea of where we are now. And we're going to sync up the barrows. I know you can make this sync up. I thought I did this. I don't know why it's not, but no big deal. 315. Cool. All right. So we've got this set up ready to go. We've got this. We've got the plane ready to go. At this stage, you know, obviously you could set up your comms. If you were on network, you'd either be on Unicom 122.8 or you'd be on the whatever the current frequency is for Orlando. But everything else looks pretty good to go. The plane is loaded, fuel is in. Now at this point, and again, I know there's some people who are like, well, you got to go do this thing or go do that thing. You don't have to do that thing or this thing. You could do these, you know, things like, you know, going into the computer and, you know, doing the company messages and all that other jazz. I'm looking at a flight plan over here. Just keep that over here. I mean, you can do that if you want to. This is to get you in the air. Everything else is fluff and just trying to add more realism to what this plane can offer. And it's wonderful, and I would encourage you to check that out. But in the meantime, this is just to get you up in the air. So next thing we're going to do is we are going to turn on the APU. First thing we're going to do, master switch on, APU bleed on. You're going to give it a second. I also turn on the beacon light because we're going to be pushing back soon, and I want to make sure that if there were any planes around us, that we would know that we're going to push back. And then I'm sure there's a better answer than after a couple seconds, but after a couple seconds, you're going to click on start. So it was master switch on, then APU bleed on, purposefully leaving start off, and then like 5 or 10 seconds, hit the APU. Now, you got to wait for the APU to come on. You can see that it is starting up over here. So we're just waiting for it to kick on. We're basically waiting for it to stay available and it'll be 100%. It takes about a minute or two, no big deal. If you come outside, you'll see and hear the APU starting to come on. Here it comes. You could be doing other things now, and honestly, a lot of this flow could be a lot faster once you know what you're doing. But obviously, I'm describing everything, so I want to make sure you're all clear on what's happening. Here it comes. APU's almost there. All right, it's available, and we're good. That means basically now we have power on the airplane. We do not need the ground power anymore, so we're just going to click off external power. Now it's just available, and we're going to go back to the EFB. We want to get rid of the ground power because it's still here. The cart's there. So all we're going to do is go down to ground services, and we're going to turn off the ground power, get rid of those chocks. Everything else is good. Should be good anyway. I'm going to connect the tug. So the tug is obviously the tug is going to give us pushback out of the gate. If you were at a stand and you could just pull forward, then you would probably skip the step. But I'm assuming you're not doing that. Tug is in there. This is by the way, this tug that you're seeing here is the default tug that comes with the aircraft. So it comes with Fenix, and it just does its thing. In the meantime, let's go back inside, and we're going to turn a couple things on. First, I'm going to get rid of this thing, move that out of the way. Lock the cabin door. We should have done that earlier, quite frankly. Turn this to start. This is going to get the engines in the start mode. We'll turn that back later in a minute. I'm going to turn on the transponder into mode C. So this goes on. The top one goes on. Bottom one all the way to the right. Bottom one all the way to the right. That's all you have to remember. Obviously, if you put a squawk, if you were on ATC and they give you a squawk code, you would do that here as well. All right. So now we are ready for pushback. The plane is ready for the engines to turn on. They're not on yet, but they're going to be. So we're going to go over here. And the tug controls, we're going to click on start. Oops, you know what I should have done? Release the parking brake. All right, that's an oopsie. I think I do that every time. But basically, and this is a little janky, I'll be honest with you. Hopefully something else comes back to replace it, make it a little bit easier. But we're just going to watch it. It allows you, within the controls, you can go left or right or back. Right now we're just going back. So I'm just going to watch it. We're going to do a pushback to the right. So we want to face that way, which is south, I believe, at this airport. It has a long pushback. I think I'm used to pushing back at airside 1, and airside 1 it's a lot closer. Oh, you know what we can do while we're doing pushback? Let's start up the engines. So engine 1, hit that up, and we're going to be looking for the numbers start going. The N2 starting to rise, which we are. 12, 13, 14, 15. This is good. Now you're seeing the N1 starting to rise. And you want to start one engine at a time. You know, some people like to do like the single engine taxi and all that. Ain't nobody got time for that today. Let's look at I'm more worried about our pushback here, not going into the grass. But ideally, you'd have both engines. I don't know. Oh, all right. I guess that's all as fast. That's it. That's it. All right. Parking brake is going to go on. By the way, when I turned the parking brake off, I have a switch over here that I did, which I shouldn't have done. I should have showed you that I was doing that. Engine 1 looks good. Let's turn on engine 2. I really wanted it to go a little further back, but that's no problem. We're far enough away from the gate that we can kind of figure it out, so it's all good. I'm going to take a look at the... This is uncharted territory for me. Do I have to tell the... No, the tug's already gone. Tug unavailable, so we're on our own. No worries. All right. To know when you're ready, you're looking for... See, engine 1's already done. It's at 18.4. The numbers aren't rising. They're kind of... Everything's stable here on the left. So I'm just waiting for the right to stabilize, essentially. 18 point... It's basically there right now. Cool. Once the engines are good, you're going to turn this back to normal. So a little flick of the mouse wheel. That's good. We're going to go upstairs. We're going to turn off the APU. Now, we don't need it anymore. 1 and 2. The start button will eventually turn off by itself. And then we're going to go down here. We're going to do flaps 1 for takeoff, because remember we set flaps 1, right? We're going to arm the spoilers. We are going to put this into max. And now we need lights. So wing lights on, nav lights on, taxi lights on only, and the runway turn-off lights on. We're going to leave off these lights till you get into the runway. And believe it or not, that is everything you have to do to get ready. Now you're ready to taxi. And yeah, that's it. So you can just release the parking brake and be on your way. Now again, this is not, I already know. There's going to be some people who are going to make comments. You're not doing it the right way. You're supposed to be, you know, should have done this. Should have done that. Should have, you know, you're supposed to go do this thing. Or you can also do this. And you know what? Those people are totally correct. That is, they're not wrong on that. But I wanted to show you where I'm going because I really don't even know where we're going. That's totally valid information. This video is meant to give you the basics, the rundown, how to get going. Because now you have everything ready for this plane to take off. All you have to do is taxi to the runway and be on your way. So I hope you found this video helpful. We're going to do more videos here on the Fenix A320, including how to do the takeoff, departure, plan the arrival, do an ILS landing. It's a lot of fun. I probably should have made that right. Should have gone that way, actually, but it's all good. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. It really would help me out so much if you subscribe to our channel, because we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And let me know in the comments below, what other things would you recommend? What are some good things to add on to that flow in terms of, again, getting a better sense of realism? I personally would really appreciate learning these kinds of things as well. So let me know in the comments below. And thank you for watching. This has been Hotch Mania, and we'll talk again real soon.